Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now, let's start with the first story. It's called Boss Wouldn't Listen. This happened about a month ago. I work as an industrial painter. I paint machinery, and typically whenever I got a job, they tell me what paint to use and color. But on this very day, I got an atypical job, in which they wanted me to use water-based paint, latex, on a carbon steel job. I went to my boss and told her this won't work, because this paint will make it rust. But she said, "I don't care, just use the paint that's going to be here next week." I got her to write down the paint I was to use, with her signature, and said sure. If you don't understand, putting water on a rustable metal is generally a bad idea, as rust ruining not only the paint job, but possibly weakening the metal itself. I did my job after a day of prep work, painted it, and let it sit for a couple of days to dry and cure. And a week after that, she came up to me, expressing how horrible it looks, as the rust was showing through the metal. I said, "I followed your instructions to the letter," and told her again that water and air will make metal rust. After a little back and forth, she conceded that she was in the wrong, but asked how we fix it. The best option was to sandblast it, to get all the paint off and use an oil-based paint. She got me the sand I needed, and now she trusts me when I say it's not going to work. The next story is called More Space. This happened a number of years ago. I work on a car ferry and am one of the crew members responsible for loading of the vehicles. I don't do it alone though, and it is a team sport. Before we load vehicles onto the car deck, we receive a loading list of booked traffic for the sailing. If someone is not booked, they can wait on standby to see if we can fit them on. With the deck loaded and the boat almost full, I said we could take a small one, if they didn't mind the squeeze. On came the green 1974 MGB, a very nice small car. After some gentle and slow guidance, it made it on with the smallest of margins. Cue the shouting from a man in his late 50s or early 60s. "You there, I can't get out of my car." There was enough room to open the doors, but not all the way admittedly. This was beside the point though, because he was standing next to me a few cars away from him when he said it. "What are you going to do about this? It's a disgrace." I had to ask him again to repeat his complaint and hope that he would realize how absurd his statement was. He said it again. I tried to stay composed and remembered that he might have had a bad drive or even a bad day up to this point. His wife was trying to tell him to be quiet and just to be grateful, but no. We were, myself and other crew members, doing our best to help them. As soon as he said to one of the sailors, "I've paid for my ticket, I demand a full space view," my mind was made up to help this gentleman. I said to him, "I am very sorry for your inconvenience. You are of course right, sir. If you would like to get back into your car and just back up a little way, we'll be able to get you all the space you need." About time. Once he was ready, I got one of the sailors to start guiding him from the back of the car. "Keep it going," as his car backs up. Sailor guiding the car, "Keep it going." He definitely knew what the plan was. The car was backed off of the boat and heading back for the car park. At this point, the guy figured out what was going on and demanded to know what was happening. The sailor said that he would have all the room he needed, waiting in the car park for the next boat. After that, the guy lost the plot and came out with the usual threats of, "I know the managing director and I'll have you sacked." We didn't look concerned, and his wife snapped and went ballistic at him. Following a major dressing down in front of everyone, she made him apologize and asked politely if they could reboard. We said that, because his wife was so awesome, that would be fine, but to listen to her advice in the future. The third story is called Not Allowed to Work. A few years ago, at my place of employment, they decided to bring in a new safety glasses policy. As I was a member of the safety committee, I was tasked with finding a company who could supply safety glasses that could fit our employees, and with a new criteria. it had to pass a pencil fit test. A regular pencil should not be able to pass around any part of the glass to enter the eye area. A tight fit, as it were. I called around and found a company that was able to come out and provide us with a choice of 120 different models and styles to choose from. This would allow us to fit everyone, from fat to thin faces, tall, slim faces, orc-shaped, big-nosed, you name it. We would be able to get them fit. I thought that it was in the bag, piece of cake, or any other platitude you can think of. Well, of course, management has to step in and say, this doesn't work for us. Their solution? Find a company that has only 6 different styles of glasses and make it work. As I wear prescription lenses, these new styled glasses were not designed for this. They only have inserts, which are clipped on inside. Well, to make the glasses pencil fit, the glasses fit, the frames are curved to fit your face. Hence the insert is bent to fit the frame. Now, just imagine taking your glasses and bending them to sit tight to your face. See how this distorts your vision. Now, cue malicious compliance. I reported to my boss that I could not wear the new glasses as they distorted my vision and gave me headaches. Their solution was to have me try each model of glasses one at a time and get lenses made for them to see if I could find one that would work, knowing that no matter what they did, wearing curved frames would not work. Every time I got new lenses made, I made sure that they were high index, UV resistant, tinted, scratch resistant, and the best money could buy. I bought lenses for all 6 frame types at a cost of just over $7,000. At the end of this, I went to see my eye specialist, and he wrote me a letter stating that I am not able to wear the new style glasses, as they would damage my eyes. I took this letter into work and showed it to my boss. They didn't know what to do with me. I showed up for work every day, dressed and ready to work, but they never assigned me any work, as it would be too dangerous, even though I had worn my old safety glasses for the last 25 years. Suddenly, it's too dangerous. So they had me just sitting in the lunchroom. I would play games on the computer. I was going to night school, so I completed a semester of school and basically just screwed around. One day I was playing video games and our number 2 big boss walked in and saw me. I said good morning with a big smile and a wave. He didn't. A couple of days later, our number 1 boss walked in while I was reading the newspaper and he asked me what I was doing. And I said, reading the paper. He said, why? I said, they told me it's too dangerous out there for me. The next day I was back at work. 10.5 weeks I was off, and suddenly the policy was changed. The last story is called Wouldn't Sign It Off. About 15 years ago, I used to work in a highly regulated area of inbound mortgage sales in the UK. Our calls were monitored for compliance, and multiple failed calls led to action plans being put in place to get you back on track. Well, I had a terrible start to the year and failed 3 calls in a row. The usual follow-up and support didn't happen, and I turned things around and passed the next 4 months of calls with no action plan needed. In month 4, I get called into a meeting to discuss my need for an action plan. I was confused as it had been so long since I had failed a call. I was referred back to the call from the start of the year. I mentioned that I felt that the action plan was unwarranted, as I had turned this around myself, even without the support. And putting me on an action plan now was definitely closing the stable door after the horse had bolted. I was told that this was non-negotiable. Okay, fair enough. The action plan is drawn up, and there's a section for my comments. I state the dates of my failed calls, the record since the last failed calls, and my disappointment that the support was not offered at the time of need. I was told I wasn't allowed to record this on the performance plan. What they didn't realize at the time is how petty I am. So I researched the HR handbook, printed out a section stating implicitly I was allowed to put any info I wanted recognizing this in the section. I updated the performance plan to state I had been told I couldn't record my objections. The manager who told me that and added the HR handbook section for good measure. It turns out we were due for an inspection, and not intervening when there is a record of failed calls was a big issue. Why diverting the lack of support back to management would not look good. they would not sign off my plan as it stood, and I would not back down either. The result was that I was not allowed to do my job. I was already job searching elsewhere, but I managed to spend 3 months being paid to job search and be available for other tasks. This mostly ended up with me playing Mario Kart in the break room, until busy work could be found elsewhere. When I eventually gave my notice, I was immediately put on a month's paid leave to get me out as soon as they could. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.